Hey, good morning. It's day 2, and today's going to be a big day because thunderstorms are forecasted to be rolling in around 1. It's about 6 a.m. I'm going to try to get out and get as many miles as I can. I got some pretty big climbs today. I want to say if I can make it out of the Linville Gorge, it'll be 20 miles and over 6,000 feet of elevation gain. So I don't know, but I'm going to try. So we'll get going. Hopefully I can get some views of the gorge before the rain rolls in because it's a beautiful place. Legs are a little sore, but the rest last night might have been helpful. So I was fortunate last night to find a campsite. It was just right up there. I found a spot that was not too rocky, enough room for the tent, and reasonably flat. Where's the trail? It's right ahead. Let's try to make it through. There we go. According to Far Out, we have spectacular views here. Damn. Just made it up to at least a portion of this ridge. I think it's Dobson Knob that's up there, but some really cool views. It's like the clouds are a blanket on top of those mountains. How it just comes over the top. This is really cool. You get a view of this side too. This is where I came from. Trees are blocking it, but I was way down that valley. Sun's trying to bust through. We are going to continue on. I'm glad I wore my tech stuff this morning because going up the wiggles to get up on top of this ridge, all the plants were covered in dew and water from last night. Since this trail isn't as well trafficked, I was having to push a lot of it out of the way, and my shirt's soaked, my shorts are soaked. It actually feels pretty good because I was climbing, the cool water kept me cool, whereas I would normally get hot. It's fun. I'm really enjoying this climb. Without doing the Mountains to Sea Trail, I don't know that I ever would have come up on this ridge over here. Has the difficulty of the gorge. You get views. It's pretty nice. Just left Dobson's Knob, and I think for now, for the next 10 miles, mostly be going downhill. This is some of the nicest trail I've been on that's not a fire road. There aren't many rocks. It's soft, grassy, wide. After the 1.5 miles uphill this morning, pushing through bushes, I'm still soaked. Definitely a nice reprieve. Yesterday, I ended up doing almost 27 miles and averaged 2.5 miles an hour, which I'm actually surprised because I wasn't watching it and I thought I was going much slower. This morning, the first 2 miles took me 1.5 hours. Some definitely a technical uphill rocky climb. It's crazy how the terrain can affect you so much. I'm walking on some rocks right now. I don't want to slip. Speaking of rocks, when it's dry, I aim for the rocks because I get the most grip. I don't avoid the dirt, I just aim for the rocks. But when it's wet, they are so slippery. And I think when I was doing segment 2, maybe 3, I was moving and not paying attention and ended up falling several times. Learned my lesson. So another tower. We just passed 2 towers, one after the other. Don't know if they're cell towers or not, but I turned my phone off airplane mode and my signal still is pretty poor. So if they're telephone towers, they're not my service. Oh well. And tower number 3. Man, they're not messing around. They got the razor wire. Still don't have a signal, so oh well. No trespassing, keep out. Yeah, I think I'm good. I find it interesting walking through the woods with all the rocks, and then you come across fields like this. They used to be old home sites. Interestingly, the gate back there said that it's handicap van accessible. And there's parking. I guess this is the parking. Over Mountain Victory National Historic Trail. I don't think I've heard of that one. Guess we get to walk on the Over Mountain Victory Trail for a little bit. It's getting a little rough back in here. Streams come from 2 directions. See the towers over there. Wonder if that's where I came from. There's Shortoff Mountain. I'll be going up there shortly. Get, I think, Table Rock hidden in the clouds. Standing on top of Pinnacle Mountain, you can get almost 360 views. Lake James back there. A couple of trees right here. It's Shortoff Mountain there, and over there is the Table Rock Summit. Man, what a view. That looks like the old trail. They threw a bunch of stuff on it to block it. This climb down from Pinnacle to the bottom is no joke. I want to say it's about 1,500 feet of elevation descent in about a mile to mile and a half. And my ankles and quads are ready for this to be done. Just checked the weather forecast and the weather keeps pushing out a little bit, so I'm getting lucky. It's 12:30 and looks like it's gonna start, if the forecast holds, around 3:30, raining pretty hard. They're calling for over ½ an inch. And it looks like the worst of it's gonna be between 4 and 6. I have about 9 miles left to go and 3,600 feet of climbing to do. So I won't be moving very quickly. This is some of the slowest terrain I've ever hiked on, the part that's coming up. So I'm hoping I can get 5 or 6 of that done. And if the weather doesn't push out again, then just pitch my tent and hang out. I'm not supposed to stay in the gorge without a permit, which I don't have, so I can take my chances when that comes, or just hang out at my tent till the rain lets up and then hike on until I get to the site that's just outside of the Linville Gorge wilderness boundary. Gotten lucky so far, haven't been rained on, and yesterday was supposed to have some, this morning was supposed to have some, and I know my luck's not going to hold out forever, but I'll keep pushing it if it's going to keep moving. So, all right, moving on. Also, I really don't want to hike in the dark. In general, I don't mind hiking in the dark, but here in the Linville Gorge area, I find it some of the most beautiful area that I've ever hiked in, and like to see it. If I stay in my tent and don't get out until later, once the rain lets up, it's probably going to be dark. So we'll just have to see. All right, later. All right. We have to go somewhere over there. Climbing up Shortoff Mountain. 1,500 feet in less than 2 miles. And I just heard thunder. Looks like it's not going to hold off. Made it up the climb, at least to the trailhead or the junction, and that was one of the toughest climbs I've ever done. I am beat. Looking forward to taking a break at the water pipe, take my pack off, get something to drink, and just rest. Man, goodness. You would never know we're on top of Shortoff Mountain, as flat as it is here. We did pay for it coming up. A pond on top of a mountain. This pond is often dry. Had a lot of rain, so not now. So it started raining a while ago. I had to put on my rain jacket. Then it stopped raining and I took it off. I'm now walking through this trail where it's tight, bumping into all these wet trees. I'm soaked. Might as well be raining. All the water getting on me off these trees. I don't remember the trail being this leafy, having to brush the branches and leaves and whatnot out of the way. I mean, I am warm and the water's cool, so it is pretty nice. But tight trail. 4 miles to go. Like, really, check this out. Everything is wet. I'm getting wet. My phone's getting wet. It's a challenging descent. We're walking through what looks like a ditch. Several times having to have a steep drop where I have to negotiate my step. Oh. Of course, I keep getting stuck on trees. I think this is another trail that they rerouted. They put a switch back in here. And then here as well. I think it just used to go straight up and straight down. I did come up, I don't know if you can see it. But this is definitely nicer to add a more gradual trail. Probably more maintainable too. It's definitely a new trail. The new section of trail is definitely easier than the straight up there used to be. And you're not in the trees, you get these views. It's awesome. All right, came to this junction. And there's no markings, but it looks like they're building a new trail here and it hasn't opened yet. So I'm gonna hope it gets us there, which is we're gonna take it. Down. So I get to climb up the ditch. They rerouted the trail back there to, I think, help with situations like this. Looks like here's a future trail. Yep. Just in the works. You can tell right there, they've cleared some of the brush. That's the trail today. Early works. A little bit more progress. And what we saw down there is what the finished project will look like. All right, so my pack feels like it's just getting heavier and heavier as I go. Reality is it's getting lighter. as I eat my food and drink the water. I've hiked more in the last 2 days than I've ever hiked in 2 days, so I think it's really my body telling me too much. I had to push it to get out of the gorge because I didn't have a permit, and 2 miles to go to get there. Maybe about an hour of hiking. And then tomorrow and or the next day I should be able to do less miles and maybe even sleep in a little bit. So looking forward to that. Also, I've gotten lucky with the weather. It's crazy because as I was monitoring the forecast throughout the day, it was progressively getting worse. Thunderstorms. At one point it said 0.6 inches of rain, got up to 0.9 inches of rain, and other than a few drizzles, haven't had anything. Keep hearing thunder in the distance, but it's not here. So fingers crossed it stays that way for the next hour. All right, later. The chimneys. Table Rock Campground. It's 4 or 5 tents. This is the trail up to the trail to Table Rock. After you climb this, you get to a junction where you get to climb some more. I am tired, so no Table Rock summit today. A nice, easy downhill to end the day. Some slippery rocks is not what I was hoping for. All right, made it to the goal for today, which was to hike out of Linville Gorge since I didn't have a permit. Got really lucky with the weather. It only drizzled a couple times. It was supposed to storm all day. It may storm tonight. I found a pretty good spot. This is flatter than last night, and I'm tired. Gonna cook some dinner here and get ready for bed. I'm gonna also look at what the next few days bring. I think I'm gonna get to hike a little bit less and take it a little bit easier. Last I checked though, the weather for tomorrow is supposed to be rainy, which maybe is okay. I think I have a lot of river crossing. So, all right, day 2 is done on the Mountains to Sea Trail, segment 4.